Hey, good morning. Morning, Kimberly. Morning, Al. How's it going, everybody? We had a big up day Thursday, big up day Friday. Can we get that continuation higher? That's the question, right? Does it go higher? Does it retrace a little? Well, let's jump into it, shall we? I mean, there is risk of a retrace. Let's be honest. We came up huge, but we were down pretty huge. I mean, we had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 9 to 10-ish market days in a row down. That was a big down. If you look at the 3-day chart that I've been showing, it was like 12. This is a 3-day chart. We'll look at these. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 right there. 12 days where the candles down. This is from not from the close, because we closed right up in here on Friday, way up here. Not quite higher than this one. Maybe a little resistance coming in right at that zone. And I know I'm not showing the chart. Here we go. Right there. So we came up right in here. And yeah, so 12 days down. I mean, if you look at this, is 3 days per candle, 12 days down. So that was a big down. We've held support there for like 9 days worth, and then popped up right in the zone. We're just back above the road. That dash line is the roadmap line, that orange line that I'm always talking about on the chart. That's equivalent to the roadmap line. It just didn't shade it in orange right here, but it would be just below this, right in here. Came up, popped up, and sat right there on Friday. It looks like this on the S&P 500 daily chart, breaking back above, and we came up just above that 40-30 or 40-40 area I was talking about on Friday, but I think we need to push just a little higher. We found resistance right at the top of that candle right there. You can see the topping, the little bitty tail, topping tail sticking up right here. Trying to push up into there, couldn't quite get there on Friday. Today we are seeing a little bit of rally in the pre-market. Broke back out of the consolidation orange zone, the support zone, support resistance box. And we do have some resistance right here where we kind of were bottoming before. So let's see what happens here. All right. See what happens. This is ES, the futures. These are already moving. So we have a little bit of green bias today, but it's nothing super strong yet. Now, can we turn this into something strong? Yes, we can. 4,300 is the zone above us that is resistance. Until we get up there, it's gonna, we probably will find a little resistance at these highs, because look, I mean, it was the high. We tried to break out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like a bunch of days, and then we rolled over, came back, found support, trying it again. If we can break out, we'll probably come up here, extend a little bit, find some resistance. I don't know if we'll pull back again. We may pull back, test this high once again, right in this zone, about this purple line. We may come back before we can blast on out. But right now I'm kind of biased long. I mean, I've been biased long for a while. If you haven't been paying attention, this move up caught a bunch of people by surprise on Thursday, Friday. I don't know why. If you've been hanging out with me, you were kind of expecting us to hold that trend line and turn up. Now, there was the possibility we went lower. It was possible, but you need to be prepared for it. You got to be prepared for all the different market outcomes. Now this, I'm giving you some resistance zones where we may slow down and or pull back from, and before we can gain some more momentum to go higher. I am still biased long. I think we'll see a new all-time high in the market before this thing rolls back over and makes a lower low than we saw in October. That's my bias. That's what I'm thinking. Now, I'm watching for the charts to prove me wrong that something else is going to happen. So even though all the fundamental data seems pretty bad, seems pretty bearish, It just doesn't make sense. That's why that's why trading is so hard. None of it makes sense. All right, we're playing against some of the most advanced crooks in the world in this game right here. Right here, NASDAQ bouncing off the roadmap line, bouncing off that. It did poke down, test that resistance, support. What was resistance turned support. One poke in there and launching off until we break back above. Looking right here, 1, 2, 3 waves down till we get back above here. We do not have continuation of our trend. It's very similar on S&P. Until we get back above that purple line, we don't really have continuation of the trend. On Russell, that purple line comes in right here, right there. Until we get back above that, we don't really have continuation yet. I mean, it sucks. You got to wait for these things, but this was the initial. This is an aggressive indication that we are going higher with continuation. We don't get our confirmation till we're up here, right back around 1980, 1990 on the Russell futures. All right. And that can set us out to these higher levels, these extensions. Any questions on that one? Dollar. Let's zoom up on it. Continuing to roll over. We break below this support resistance line right here. This was resistance on the way up. It's been support so far. We break below that, we can roll on down. We do have potential to hold this one for a few days right in here before we break on down. I think we could go down into the 90s pretty easily. Now there will be, let me add one little support here to watch. Low to the high. This zone right in here may also be a point that when we get to here, that may be when the S&P 500 hits 4,300. When we pull back on S&P 500, we rise up on this chart. So watch for that zone when we get into this 102.50 to 103 area on the dollar. When it comes down in there, we could get a bounce in the market, or bounce down in the market, a bounce up in the dollar. All right. Just being real with everybody right now, what how all this stuff fits together here. These things are correlated when they're correlated. When they're not correlated, they're not. Sometimes the dollar and the market will move in the same direction. That just happens sometimes. Now, TLT also looks ripe for a bounce here. Came right down, made a lower low than we saw back here in December, and a strong, swift move up. This thing can break out and go in a big way. My target's up here right now, around 115-ish or so. All right. Another one that looks set to go, EEM. That one looks like it made a bottom. I want to see it back above the roadmap line though. And then we have this little resistance zone right here. Confirmation for the move is above 41 on EEM. Another one, GLD. This one got the aggressive entry on Friday. We have resistance up here to 178. Clearing above that can take us to 185, 190. That can go higher high as the dollar drops. Now we may see when the dollar hits that resistance zone, gold may hit this resistance zone and pull back a little bit before it can go on up. So this is a long-term play. Probably I would, not buy, if you're going for options, I would not buy stuff less than like September probably. All right. Now looking at stuff actually moving today, we've got Tesla popping a little bit, not a lot of bit, just a little bit. Stuck at the roadmap line. If we can get above the roadmap line though, we're probably going to go up and test this downtrend line right here. All right. Now, Tesla. If you can't play the regular Tesla shares, you have TSLL. That's a 1.5 leveraged shares. If you're going to play options on this, I do recommend you be very careful because 1.5 cuts both ways. just keep that in mind if you're going to play here. But this orange box is resistance. Looking for a pop up to the top of it. That probably correspond with that downtrend line on the actual Tesla chart. Somewhere around 17 on TSLL. That's just leveraged long. Tesla leveraged long. And TSLS is going to be dropping out. This one may move more, even though it's only a 1x. It is bearish, so it will drop as Tesla climbs. Be careful on that one. If you just something else to look at that's lower price than something that costs $200 a share. Now, Apple making the list. Look at this. It's got almost a $3 pop here. Beautiful. We break back above this right up here, we can get a run to new highs on Apple. May seem a little crazy, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody's aware. We get that breakout above this level that's been resistance since all the way back in October. Now, remember, the market was making the lows in October. Apple made its lows right here in January. So Apple's lagging the market. It can have the opportunity to catch up. This one may be behind. So just keep that in mind too. All right. Oil getting slammed a little bit. Natural gas taking a hit. I've been saying that natural gas was likely to pull back. I think UNG and Cold were on here. Cold making a pop. And I think UNG was on the list here somewhere. Yeah, right there. As getting a hit also. Really, this all comes back. If you're not watching the future chart for natural gas and you're trying to play those ETFs, you got to watch the future chart. All right? This is where the story is told. And then it plays out in the ETFs. ETFs are derivatives. You got to go. I mean, I highly recommend going to the source for any chart. Like, don't go to an options chart. Go to the source of the options chart. If it's even if you're playing options on a derivative of something else, like if you're playing TSLL options, you got to go to Tesla and look at what the move is. Don't go to TSLL and don't go to the option. Like, you got to go all the way back to the core thing that you're watching. All right, whatever it's based off of, keep track of that. Then keep track of your derivative and keep track of the derivative of the derivative. Like, an option is a derivative of something, and if you're playing something like TSLL, that's a derivative of Tesla. So you've got your like two derivatives out. All right. Remember, that's how the whole GFC, Great Financial Crisis, that's what happened there. They were playing derivatives of derivatives of derivatives, and the house of cards fell down. That's the basic problem that happened. They were taking mortgages, packaging them up in securities, then taking those securities and selling securities on those securities, and eventually the house of cards came apart. So we can blame it on interest rates or whatever, but it basically comes on playing derivatives of derivatives. So go to the source. Futures are where the price moves all the time. Now, Cala looks like bad earning. Wow, that lost a lot of money. Bad earnings, but they got a pop. So who knows? That looks dangerous right there. Big pop. It could rally back to the top, but that looks freaking dangerous. Right here, BBIO. Look at that pop. Another one of those pharma things. Probably a drug or acquisition. I don't know which one it is. Let's see. Positive data, yeah, phase 2 trials. These things surprise on phase 2 trials, failing, or usually when they have good data, they pop like crazy and it doesn't make sense on the chart. And when they get bad data, they crush and some of them go out of business. So that's why I caution on biotechs and medical technology and stuff like that. A lot of the chart does weigh on stuff that I can't predict and control through the chart prices. Azul, however you say that one. Nice little pop, but that looks like a horrible chart. It can rally back up to the roadmap line here, but be cautious. That one looks like it's going to zero. CRD, looks like the market just opened. That one's likely to come up and test the roadmap line right up here, around 136. MA, let's take a diversion here real quick. MA has a roadmap set up right here. This is an aggressive type entry. You have resistance right here. Targets are up here, 401, 415. So there's a play right there. Potential. Be careful. Yeah. Now I'm getting alerts on my watch and my headphones here. So this one, if it just reverses here, be careful. We want continuation higher. That's what we want to see. Continuation. Get up in here. Continuation higher. You gotta follow. Gotta be a smart trader. So all right. ASTS also moving. Not a lot. Looks like it's stuck in the roadmap line. We did UNG. MO. Stuck sideways kind of. We've got this resistance above us. It's got to get above there to go higher. I mean, you can make a few bucks playing that range, but be careful. It breaks back below here. It can come down, retest these lows once again. QTRX. Yeah, it's stuck below the roadmap line. Lots of these are stuck. Yeah, we covered cold. That can bounce right here, and natural gas can go lower. This is an ultra short. Cuts both ways though. Remember, keep track of natural gas, like the future chart, the underlying. CIEN looks like it may come back and fill the gap. Nice pop, beating on earnings, top and bottom. But it left a nice gap, and it's got resistance. I mean, look at all this. All that resistance right there. Has not been able to get up out of that yet. I mean, it spent however many days that is, like 3 weeks-ish, and then dropped out of there like crazy. Came up, resistance, resistance, resistance. Popped up there. If it drops back out, it's probably coming right back down here. LAZR, nice pop, but it's got resistance coming across there. All these things have resistance that they've got to work through. The market got beat down like a little bizwitch last year, and lots of resistance for things to go higher. That one, nothing to look at. That's just sitting near the lows. VIR. I picked up these off most of these off of Stock Chameleon. The first few I grabbed off of from Apple down to about ATS. I grabbed off of Stock Twits, then everything else I grabbed off of Stock Chameleon as a pre-market mover. This one looks like it wants to fill that gap, probably. Got a little gap right up in there. Probably going to fill that, and then we'll find out if it can break out or break down again. Meta was showing up. Same, it's got the resistance. It gets above that resistance right there. It's going to come fill this gap. It's got this gap. It wants to go fill it. It was a big gap on the way down. It's going to be gunning for that. And it may take out to the late summer before we get up there. So watch that one. Be careful. A lot of money's got to flow back into that to get back up into that zone. These guys make a lot of money from advertising. And now that they're not blowing it on some hopium metaverse thing, now that they came back into reality about making money in the environment we're in, we can see it come back up into this zone. MDB, Mongo database, they've got a gap hanging out right here. If they can get above the roadmap line and stay above it, not just spike up and chop, and probably your initial, right, grab that high right there. Confirmation would be moving above this high right there. Getting above those, you can set alerts like right there around 239, and then about 252. It could come up here to 324. Now that's a big move. Even though this doesn't look like a big move, that's big numbers right there. So this one can definitely, I mean, and it moves pretty quick too. So it's a dangerous, watch your money there. Finally, wrapping this up, kind of ALV. Looks like, oh, another one. Let's go. Take a diversion real quick. Looks like this one's going to push out to targets. I don't remember why I set an alert on that one, but looks like we're getting to the targets. I got a big target up here, though, around 1100. We're 1070, something like that. We break out above this high, it's probably going to run. ALV, we've got resistance built up right over here, and we're right into it. So that one can definitely push higher. It's got the stuff built up right here. Watch for a turn down. You can see 1272, found resistance, pushing up. Might find resistance at this 99.60. May pull back all the way back down here again before it can get the energy to go higher once again. Just watch. Same patterns all the time. It's all I watch. Same patterns. All right. That's what's moving today so far. I'm sure there'll be more stuff. A little bit biased, but I'm a little bit cautious. A little bit biased long. A little bit cautious that we see a pullback because that was one heck of a rally. Thursday, Friday. Continuation be beautiful. Of course, we don't have real confirmation we're going higher until we get it back above 150 or so. That should take us up to 4,300, which is the top of the move from August. That's what we got to work through. So remember, you got CPI and PPI coming up next week. You've got FOMC the week after that. And then we'll see where the whole thing takes us. So got some news coming up. But this week, another kind of flat week. We got some earnings. We got some, a few little reports and stuff. No major movers. But don't let this thing get you caught off guard, all right? Make sure you watch the downside. Know when support's getting broken. Watch the upside. We've got resistance we got to work through. All right? See you guys tomorrow for another Morning Monster. And be careful out there. If you're in Discord, hey, let me know if you see something. Got a deal on Discord in the description. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification with the things so you get alerts when I go live tomorrow at 9:15 before the market opens. See everybody later. Bye for now.